The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Alliance was a place where history had been shaped for centuries. On this day, every seat was full. Leaders from dozens of alien worlds had gathered. They were here to celebrate the end of what they proudly called the Age of War and the start of the Age of Peace. It was an age built on the destruction of one race, humanity. 80 years ago, Earth had burned. Its skies had turned black. Its oceans had boiled. The Alliance had called it a necessary action. Humans had been advancing too fast, too ambitious, too dangerous. They could not be allowed to dominate the stars. So, the Alliance had united against them. Entire fleets were sent, entire cities erased. And when it was over, the humans were gone. Every world was told the same story: humanity was extinct. Now, in the middle of this grand celebration, as lights shimmered across the chamber and alien voices echoed with speeches of peace, something happened. The sound cut. A deep static filled the air, sharp and broken. The alien translators scrambled to adjust. The static cleared for just a moment and a voice came through. It was not an alien voice, it was human. "This is Earth." The chamber froze. No one moved. The voice was rough, filled with something the translators could barely name: fury, defiance, and grief all at once. "You call this peace?" Pause then. "Fear our war." The message ended with silence. For several long seconds, no one in the chamber spoke. The air felt heavy. The alien leaders exchanged looks, some with fear, some with disbelief. Humanity was gone. Every single one of them. There could be no survivors. And yet, that voice, the high speaker, an old alien with silver scales and cold eyes, finally broke the silence. "Trace it now." Dozens of intelligence officers went to work. The signal was unlike anything they had seen in decades. It was encrypted in human code, old code, the kind the Alliance had erased from their archives. Even more disturbing, the message had been transmitted directly into the Alliance's most secure channel. That should have been impossible. After hours of tracing, the results came in. The origin of the signal was a dead system on the edge of the galaxy. No living worlds, space stations. No reason for anyone to be there. And yet, the signal came from a planet recorded as destroyed 80 years ago. The high speaker gave the order to classify the message as false propaganda and to erase all public records. But the message had already spread. Not to the public yet, but to the shadows. The smuggler networks had heard it. Black market traders whispered about it. And deep in the underworld, the word was spreading. The humans might still be out there. One of the officers assigned to the case was Commander Varen, a veteran intelligence agent from the reptilian world of Kothar. He had fought in the last human war. He remembered their ships, their tactics, their stubborn refusal to surrender. In the end, they had all died. He had seen it with his own eyes, or so he thought. Varen was ordered to travel to the dead system and find out the truth. It was a routine patrol. Unofficially, it was the most dangerous mission of his career. The journey took 4 days. His small cruiser cut through the cold emptiness between stars, entering a sector of space no one visited anymore. Old navigation buoys floated here, rusted and useless. Human designs. Warnings in faded English: "Keep out." When the dead planet came into view, Varen saw nothing but a ruined world. Its surface was black and cracked, its oceans gone, but his. Scanners detected something strange. Faint energy readings, deep underground. He sent a probe down. The probe's signal returned for a few seconds, then cut off completely. "System malfunction?" his pilot asked. "No," Varen said quietly. "Someone destroyed it." As they prepared to scan again, the cruiser's lights flickered. Communications console lit up with a single message: "Unknown vessel detected." It was behind them. Varen turned to the viewport. There, in the darkness, something huge moved. No running lights, no transponder signal. Its shape was wrong, sharp, predatory, like the warships from the old human fleets. But bigger, it didn't fire, didn't move closer. It just watched. Varen's crew panicked, running through combat protocols. The targeting systems couldn't lock on. Every time they tried to scan it, the readings came back blank, as if the ship wasn't there at all. Then, without warning, the strange ship vanished from their sensors. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. Varen stood frozen at the console, his claws tapping against the metal.
Right, he knew ships.
He had seen every design in the Alliance fleet. Whatever that was, it was not alien. It was human, before he could. Report back, his console pinged. At. A secure transmission had been received, encrypted, human code again. He unlocked it slowly, his hands shaking. It was the same voice from the first message. Only now the full version played. This is Earth. We have waited. We have built. We have watched. You call this peace. Now then, fear our war. There was a long pause. Then the voice spoke again. 20 days. We are coming. The transmission ended. Varen stared at the screen. He had no doubt anymore. Humanity was alive. And in 20 days, the galaxy would remember why they had feared them. The message kept playing in Varen's mind, over and over.
20 days.
They were coming. The journey back from the dead system felt longer than the trip there. His crew was silent. Even the hum of the engines seemed heavier, as if the whole ship understood something terrible was about to happen when they reached Alliance space. Varen filed his official report, but not the full truth. The high speaker only heard what Varen allowed them to hear: energy readings in the dead system. No confirmed life signs. The strange ship and the second transmission were left out. If he told them everything, he knew exactly what would happen. The Alliance would try to destroy the humans before they were ready. And if that failed, the humans would destroy them first. But the galaxy was already stirring. Rumors about the first message had leaked into the lower decks of the Alliance fleets. Space traders whispered in the ports. Some said they had seen old human ships passing through shadow lanes in deep space. Others swore they had spoken to humans themselves, hidden under false identities. The most dangerous rumor of all was about the Ghost Fleet. It was said to be a fleet of human warships from before the war, preserved in secret shipyards and upgraded with technology no alien could understand. Some said the Ghost Fleet could appear anywhere, attack without warning, and vanish before the enemy could fight back. The Alliance officially called it nonsense. But Varen was beginning to believe it. It was real. He couldn't stop thinking about the huge, silent ship that had followed him in the dead system. It's the way it had disappeared. The way the targeting systems could not lock onto it. That was no trick of sensors. It was a ship that wanted to be invisible. And it had succeeded. 2 nights later, while his cruiser was docked for refueling at Station Halvik, Varen was contacted by an old friend, or rather an old enemy. She was a smuggler. A pale-skinned mammalian alien named Jorah. They had hunted each other for years before the war ended. Now she made her living carrying goods between dangerous sectors. I hear you've been to the graveyard, she said over a secure channel. Varen didn't answer. I also hear you saw them, she continued. The Ghost Fleet. Rumors, Varen said. Not rumors, Jorah said. Proof. I saw one myself 3 weeks ago, out near the Edrin Belt, big, silent, black as the void. It followed my ship for 6 hours, then it was gone. Just like that. Why tell me this? Varen, ask because I think they're looking for something. And I think you've found it. Before Varen could ask what she meant, the channel cut off. The next day, Varen received new orders. He was to return to the dead system immediately, not for investigation this time, but to patrol the border in case of unlawful activity. He knew exactly what that meant. The Alliance feared the humans were back. They didn't have to wait long for proof. On the second day of patrol, the long-range scanners picked up an anomaly, a cluster of faint energy spikes moving together through deep space. It was unlike anything in the Alliance registry. Varen set a course to intercept. Hours later, his ship emerged from hyperspace into a field of drifting ice and rock. The scanner showed nothing. Empty space. And then the ice began to move. One by one, massive shapes slid out from behind the asteroids, dark, angular, and silent ships. Dozens of them. They had no lights, No engine trails, no signals. They looked like predators, gliding effortlessly through the void. Varen's crew froze. No one needed to say it. They all knew what they were looking at. The Ghost Fleet. The largest ship in the group turned slowly, as if it were staring directly at Varen's cruiser. A bright flash of light came from its side, not a weapon. But a signal? It was a message. Short, direct, written in old human military code. Watch. Before Varen could respond, the fleet moved away, vanishing into the darkness as if they had never been there. He knew then that the humans were not hiding anymore. They were preparing, watching, waiting for their moment, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The days after Varen saw the Ghost Fleet were restless. Even when he slept, he dreamed of those dark ships sliding silently through the void. Their weapons hidden, their engines whispering like ghosts. He knew they were real. He'd seen them. With his own eyes, the rest of the galaxy still thought they were only a story told by smugglers and drifters that was about to change. It started small. A few strange glitches in the Alliance's communications network. Messages disappearing mid-transmission. Patrol ships receiving orders that no one had sent. The military blamed it on solar storms. Then, entire starport databases were wiped clean. In seconds, schedules, cargo lists, even the patrol routes of warships. No alarms, no warning. In every case, the traces were the same. Human code. The problem was, this was impossible. Human programming languages had been banned after the war. Every known archive had been erased. Yet someone, or something, was writing in it again. The first to notice the pattern were not the generals, but the underworld. Smugglers, black market traders, and old mercenaries began to whisper about messages hidden deep inside the Alliance network. They weren't normal messages. They were short, direct, and always in English. The most common one was only 3 words. We are watching. Baran spent hours in his quarters, combing through the scrambled transmissions. It was like chasing shadows. Every time he found a piece of code, it would vanish seconds later, as if the sender knew exactly where he was looking. Then, one night, his console lit up with an untraceable link. Against every regulation, he opened it. A video began to play. It was a recording of an alien warship exploding, one of the Alliance's newest destroyers. It's blown apart in deep space. The wreckage drifted silently, fires flickering in the vacuum. There was no sound except a single voice speaking in calm, cold English. This is only the beginning. The screen went black. The next morning, the Alliance Council met in secret. The High Speaker looked tired, her silver scales dull and the chamber's light. Our security has been breached, she said. We believe the humans are alive, murmurs spread across the chamber. Some laughed it off. Others shifted uneasily. The High Speaker continued. If they have returned, they will not come with peace. We all remember what they were capable of. Baran sat at the back of the chamber, silent. He wanted to speak, to tell them about the Ghost Fleet, about the message counting down to 20 days. But something stopped him. He realized the truth. The Alliance was not ready. If they knew everything, they would strike first. And if they struck first, the humans would unleash their war faster than anyone could imagine. Meanwhile, the Ghost Fleet moved silently through the edges of known space. They never attacked openly. Instead, they struck in the shadows. A mining station near the Zarin Belt went dark for 6 hours when power returned. Its stores of refined fuel were gone. A convoy of military freighters jumped into hyperspace and never came out. A listening post on the far rim reported a fleet of shadows. Passing by at impossible speed, every witness described the same thing. Human ships that were faster, deadlier, and completely invisible to standard sensors. But the humans weren't just attacking the Alliance's resources, they were studying them. They left sensors behind, hidden in wreckage and debris, feeding them data about fleet movements, weapon systems, planetary defenses. They were preparing. And then came the most dangerous sign yet, in the capital city of Veltries Prime. Home. To the Alliance's central command, someone hacked into the planet's main broadcast system.
Ow.
In the middle of the night, Every screen flickered to life, from the smallest handheld communicator to the giant sky-projected billboards. The same human voice Varen had heard in the dead system spoke again. "You call this peace? Then fear our war." The message lasted only 7 seconds. Then every device returned to normal. No trace, no origin, nothing. Panic began to spread. Citizens demanded answers. Soldiers demanded orders. And in the shadows, the humans were smiling. They knew the galaxy was listening. Varen could feel the pressure closing in. The council had tightened security. Every officer was being questioned. Ships were being reassigned. Rumors of spies and traitors were everywhere. 2 days after the broadcast on Veltris Prime, Varen received new orders. He was being sent back to the dead system alone. The rest of his crew was reassigned to other ships. The message was clear. They didn't trust him anymore. The moment he left dock, he noticed the shadows. The patrol ship was following at a distance, staying just inside his scanner range. When he changed course, it changed too. By the second day, there were 3 ships following. All Alliance military. No lights, no contact. Varen knew what this meant. He wasn't on a mission. He was being hunted. That night, while drifting in the cold between stars, he picked up a faint ping on the long-range sensors. It was a small, fast-moving vessel, not Alliance, not civilian, was heading straight toward him. Before he could react, his ship's power cut out. Lights died. Engines stopped. The only sound was the hiss of the emergency systems. Then, patrol ships behind him opened fire. Energy blasts tore through the void, lighting it up in short, bright flashes. Varen's cruiser shook under the impact. Without power, he couldn't fight back. He knew they meant to destroy him before he could reach the dead system. Suddenly, a new burst of light appeared, but it wasn't from the patrol ships. Something massive slid in from the darkness. Dark, sharp lines, no identification. It moved with terrifying speed. The first patrol ship exploded in a single shot. The second tried to run, but its engines died instantly, as if something had shut them down from the inside. To fire, and vanished in a ball of flame. Silence. Varen's emergency lights flickered. Power returned. On his scanner, the strange vessel appeared, its design unmistakable. Human. A voice crackled over his comms, clear and calm. It was a woman's voice, speaking in perfect Alliance standard. "Commander Verone, you're coming with us." For he could respond. His ship was pulled toward the human vessel by an invisible force. Inside, the corridors were narrow and dark, lit by thin strips of red light. The air was cold. Human soldiers, wearing black armor and helmets with mirrored visors, escorted him through the ship. They didn't speak. Finally, they reached a command room. At the center stood a tall human woman with sharp eyes and short, dark hair. She wore no helmet, only a black uniform with an old Earth emblem on the chest. "Welcome aboard the Vengeance," she said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were cold. Varen stared at her. "You're alive. We never died." She replied, "We were driven into the dark, but we rebuilt. We learned. And now we're ready." "Ready for what?" She stepped closer, her gaze unblinking. "For war." She showed him a map of the galaxy. Red marks covered it: Alliance shipyards, weapons factories, military strongholds. "In 12 days, she said, these will burn." Varen's mind raced. "You can't fight the Alliance head-on. They have too many ships." She cut him off with a thin smile. "We don't need to fight them head-on. We just need to break their spine. Once the fleet is gone, the Alliance will collapse." "And you want me to help?" Varen asked. "No," she said. "You've already helped. The moment you saw our fleet, the moment you didn't tell them, you chose your side." Varen realized she was right, and for the first time, he wondered if humanity's return wasn't the galaxy's doom, but its salvation. The Vengeance moved through the dark like a shadow. Varun had never been on a ship so silent. Even its engines made no sound you could feel, only a soft vibration under the floor. Days passed as they traveled deeper into uncharted space. Human. Soldiers never spoke to him, simply watched, always armed. The tall human woman, her name was Captain Mara Kestrel, kept him close, never let him roam freely. On the fourth day they arrived. Through the viewport, Varen saw a system. With no sun, a black hole at its center, swallowing all light. Around it, hidden inside its gravitational shadows, floated hundreds of ships. Some were massive battleships, others were smaller, sharp, and sleek. All bore the same dark design as the Vengeance. The Ghost Fleet. Mara led Varan to a large war room. Inside one of the ships, a giant holographic table lit up with a rotating image of Earth, green and blue. Just as it had been before the war, Varen stared. But Earth was destroyed. I saw the reports. You saw what they wanted you to see, Mara said. She tapped the table, and the image changed. Now Varen saw old war footage, human cities burning, fleets under attack. But the video didn't end with total destruction. Instead, it showed massive colony ships leaving Earth, vanishing into deep space under heavy escort. Before the Alliance's final strike, Mara explained, we already knew they were coming. We evacuated the best of our people, engineers, scientists, soldiers. We left decoys behind. You thought you destroyed us. But you only destroyed shadows. She zoomed in on the Ghost Fleet. For 80 years, we've been in hiding. Built weapons you can't detect. Engines that don't leave trails. AI that learns from every battle. We waited because we knew the Alliance would grow lazy in its peace. Varen's stomach tightened. So this isn't just a return. It's revenge. Not revenge, Mara said coldly. Justice. The Alliance committed genocide. They destroyed our home. They enslaved weaker species in the name of order. We will tear down that order piece by piece. Varan stepped closer to the hologram. You mean to destroy the Alliance? Completely yes, Mara said. And we won't stop until every world they control is free or in ruins. He thought of the cities he had served, the fleets he had fought with, and he thought of the message that had started it all. You call this peace? Then fear our war. Why show me this? He asked, because Mara said, you know the Alliance. You know its weak points, and you know how they think. Help us strike where it hurts most. Varen looked at her for a long time. He wasn't sure if what she was offering was salvation for the galaxy or its destruction. But one thing was certain. The humans were ready. And in 7 days, the first blow would fall. 7 days later, the war began. It started quietly. Numbered declarations, no warnings, just silence. Followed by destruction. In the Karen sector, an Alliance shipyard vanished from scanners. One moment it was there, holding over 100 warships in various stages of construction. The next, nothing. But drifting debris, the local defense fleet swore. They saw nothing. No enemy ships, no weapons fire. But pieces of the wreckage showed clean, precise cuts, as if the ships had been dismantled by invisible blades. Hours later, on the far side of the galaxy, a military convoy of 30 heavy freighters jumped into hyperspace. They never came out. Their navigation logs later appeared on the Alliance's own military network, hacked and rewritten with one chilling sentence in English, "You can't hide from us." In the Veltry's core, the main communications hub for 12 star systems, power failed without warning. Backup systems activated only to find every single file replaced with a looping video. It was Mara Kester, no mask. No attempt to hide. She stood before the camera, her face calm, her eyes cold. "We are humanity," she said. "You called this peace. This is our answer." Behind her, the Ghost Fleet appeared, hundreds of ships drifting silently in the dark. "We will strike until the Alliance falls. And every species you have chained will be free." The video ended with coordinates. Those coordinates were the location of the next Alliance fleet base. Within hours, that base was gone. Varen watched it all unfold from the war room aboard the Vengeance. Strike after strike hit the Alliance faster than they could respond. Mara's fleets moved like predators, never staying in one place long enough to be trapped. The Alliance scrambled to defend itself. Fleets were recalled from border patrols. Emergency councils were called. Worlds that had been allies for centuries began to question whether the Alliance could still protect them. In less than 3 days, 8 shipyards, 5 fleet bases, and 2 major supply routes were gone. The economic and military shock was massive, but what frightened Varen most wasn't the destruction, it was the precision. Every target had been chosen perfectly. The humans weren't just hitting random places, they were cutting the Alliance apart piece by piece, hitting fuel depots, communication centers, and manufacturing hubs. Mara's fleet was making sure the Alliance would bleed slowly. On the 4th day, Barun walked into the war room and found Mara standing alone, staring at a new holographic map. "We've broken them," she said without turning. "Now they'll come to us." "You think they'll surrender?" Varen asked. She looked at him and gave a small, almost amused smile. "No, they'll try to kill us. And when they do, we'll end this war in one strike." Her hand hovered over a red marker on the map, the Alliance's central command on Veltry's Prime. Varan's throat went dry. He knew what it meant. The humans were going for the heart. The galaxy woke to a message it could not ignore. Every screen, every broadcast, every public channel, across thousands of worlds went black at the same moment. Then a single image appeared, a human flag, the old Earth flag, its colors sharp. Against the darkness, the camera pulled back, revealing Captain Mara Kestrel, standing aboard the Vengeance. Her voice was calm, but it carried across the stars as if she were speaking directly into every mind. "We are humanity. We are not extinct. We are not hiding. We have returned." Behind her, the Ghost Fleet came into view, hundreds of dark warships gliding together, filling the void. The sight alone was enough to send panic across half the galaxy. "You called this peace," Mara continued. "You built your empire on our ashes. Now you will fear our war." The broadcast ended, but the fear did not. On Veltry's Prime, riots broke out in the streets. Civilians shouted at soldiers, demanding to know if the rumors were true. On distant colony worlds, resistance movements began flying the human flag in secret. The Alliance tried to calm the chaos. Military leaders claimed the Ghost Fleet was small, that it was only a group of raiders using old human designs. But before the day was over, those words were proven false. The Ghost Fleet appeared in 5 different star systems at the same time. Over the frozen world of Jern, destroyed an orbital weapons platform in less than 2 minutes. In the trade hub of Eric Station, they disabled every Alliance ship without firing a single shot, then left without taking a thing. On the mining moon of Core V, they dropped supplies, not weapons, but food and medicine to the enslaved. Workers, it was not just war, it was a message. Varen watched from the bridge of the Vengeance as report after report came in. The humans were not just attacking the Alliance, they were winning hearts. Mara stood at the center of the bridge, hands behind her back. "Fear will break the Alliance," she said, "but hope will make us unstoppable." The strategy was working. Entire planets were beginning to question their loyalty. Some refused to send their fleets to help the Alliance. Others secretly sent information to the humans, but the Alliance was not finished. In the capital, the High Speaker declared full military mobilization. Every ship, every soldier, every weapon was to be prepared for a final confrontation. Varen knew what that meant. The Alliance was going to gather its entire fleet and strike at the Ghost Fleet with everything it had. Mara seemed almost pleased when she heard the news. "Good," she said. "Let them come. We'll end it where it began." She tapped the map, and the holographic star chart zoomed in on Veltry's Prime, the Alliance's heart. The humans were going to meet the Alliance, head dash on, and the galaxy would see the outcome. The stars above Veltry's Prime burned with war. The Alliance fleet was the largest ever assembled, thousands of ships, from massive dreadnoughts, 2 swift interceptors, surrounding their homeworld like a wall of steel and fire. Every weapon was charged. Every soldier was ready. They waited for the humans, and then the darkness moved. From the edge of the system, the ghost fleet appeared. At first it was only a few ships, black shapes gliding silently toward the enemy. But then more emerged, wave after wave, until the void was filled with them. Hundreds of warships, each armed with weapons the galaxy had never seen. For a moment, there was silence. Then the battle began. Alliance ships opened fire, filling space with beams of energy and streams of missiles. The Ghost Fleet moved as one. Weaving through the storm with impossible precision, her weapons tore through enemy hulls like paper. Entire Alliance squadrons vanished in seconds, but the Alliance fought hard. They had numbers, and they had desperation. Dozens of human ships were hit, some breaking apart in flames. Yet every time a human vessel fell, two more seemed to appear. Varen stood beside Mara on the bridge of the Vengeance, watching the chaos unfold on the tactical screens. "They're pulling us into the center," he said. "I know," Mara replied. That's exactly where I want them." The Vengeance dove deep into the battle, slipping between exploding ships. Then, at the heart of the Alliance formation, Mara gave the order: execute the hammer. From across the system, hidden ships that had been silent until now suddenly activated. Massive energy surges lit up the void, and then the Alliances. Central Command Ship, the Eternal Watch, vanished in a blinding explosion. Without their command, the Alliance fleet broke formation. Confusion spread. Some ships fled, others fired wildly. The Ghost Fleet moved in, cutting through them without mercy. Within an hour, it was over. Veltries Prime was surrounded. The High Speaker sent a single message: surrender. Mara accepted. But with terms, the Alliance was to be dissolved. Conquered species were to be freed. Every weapon of mass destruction was to be destroyed, and the galaxy was to remember what had happened here, on the surface of Veltries Prime. Mara addressed the entire galaxy through every open channel. Varen stood beside her, now wearing no Alliance insignia, only the simple black of the Ghost Fleet. "From the ashes of peace," Mara said, her voice steady, "we have forged a war. And from that war a new galaxy will be born, one where no voice is silenced and no world is chained." Now the humans had returned, and the galaxy would never forget. The end.